everyone. I hope you all are feeling safe. I hope you all are feeling great. I am feeling great, and that is partly because recently I celebrated the first year to my beautiful marriage, and today I am about to share the 10 things I've learned in the 1 year of my marriage. Before we start, I am no expert, so this is what I have experienced or I have learned over the course of 1 year. If you enjoyed watching this, then make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon. First thing is respect. Definitely communication is a very important part, but what is more important is respect. I mean, respect yourself, respect your relationship, respect your husband, respect their opinions, their feelings, their perspectives. From this respect comes everything else, like the comfort, the closeness, the openness to communicate, all of it. Like, I totally adore him. So what I have learned over the time is that there can be days where you are not totally blindly in love with your husband, but then the rock solid respect that you have for this person as a whole is what that keeps you calm in your head and what that keeps you moving forward. Second point, fights and arguments are going to happen, but what I have realized over the time is not every battle is worth fighting for. Like there can be some things which are not going to even matter few weeks from now, few days from now, or even the next morning. Like, for example, my husband and I have this thing of a weekend movie plan. So we select a movie and we will start watching it. So I clearly remember this time we were watching The Sinner. So it was season 2, and the plot is like the first episode. I'm not giving any spoilers, but yeah, good watch. The lady with her family is having picnic at a seashore. And she gets up and she walks up to a stranger and stabs him. So the entire plot is around why did she stab him, the crime investigation, this and that. 20-30 minutes into the show and I'm looking at he has fallen asleep. I mean, like, I flipped out and I was like, I am never watching anything with you ever in my life. And I literally pulled it so much that I did not talk to him for the entire next day. But then I realized this is not it takes so much of your time to fight about it, so it's really not worth it. And moreover, this is something which we could have watched the next day, some time after that. Similarly, if we go out to a restaurant, I have this habit of clicking pictures of everything. So I'm clicking picture of us, clicking picture of the surrounding, clicking pictures of the food, and it is so annoying to my husband. So basically, we are at this good restaurant, clicking pictures, my husband annoyed and I am annoyed because it's not a big deal to wait for a couple of minutes and the food is getting cold. What we have decided now is I have this window of 1 minute over which I can click as many pictures I want, because the 1 minute is all that I need, but when he is just waiting, it seems like a eternity to him. So yeah, so I have this 1 minute window where I can click pictures in all the angles and then satisfy myself. And so yeah, done. Third point, we both are weirdly same but yet so different. I mean, like, we have such similarities about what we like, what we don't like. Because of all of these similarities, we can spend so much of time together. We like food, we like traveling, we like being out, we like people, we are communicators, we like talking to them. Another similarity is, like, we love spending time with each other, but at the same time we need some time, a me time sort. Like, he would want to play games and he would want to be doing some other time pass, and similarly, like, it is so important to me as well. Like, I want to be all by myself a lot of times, be it on my phone, be it on reading some book, or just doing something just with me. Basically, our idea of fun matches like to amazing extents. At the same time, there are so many different stuff as well. I mean, like, talking about money management, or be it about liking certain like movie genres. Like, I love horror movies and he hates horror movies. He is someone who is more calm and down to earth, and while I am the short-tempered one. Other stuff, like, he is more of a spiritual person and I am someone who is not like that. Let's just say that. So yeah, there are these differences as well. So with time, what I've realized there are a lot of similarities, and these similarities are exactly what keeps us connected. I mean, like, this is what helps us having fun, so much fun together. But the differences are actually the ones that brings in the balance. Fourth point, you don't know everything about this person. Like, you legitimately possibly cannot know everything about this person. I mean, like, I understand you think of getting married to this person knowing that, oh, I know him so well, and I'm thinking like, oh, we are so close. But trust me, nobody at any point will know everything about anyone else, like anyone else. Like, it was a shock to my husband to see me talking in my sleep. I mean, like, I don't know, like, for obvious reasons, I myself did not know this, but then yeah, he said it to me. And in return, it was a shock to me to see his cleaning habits. I mean, like, he is the person who will do this every day. He'll do the sheets, he'll do the bed, he'll clean, broom, mop, laundry, everything. And even after all of these things, if he sees any kachra here, there, then he is on a mission again. I mean, like, obviously I knew about his cleaning habits, but I did not know the intensity. But then I have learned that is the beauty of it. You keep on learning each other, you keep growing together, evolving, changing in unexpected ways, and all of these in a way that you embrace it. Fifth point, and such an important point: your marriage will what you create it to be. I mean, like, honestly, your marriage is very unique. It is not going to be like your cousin's marriage, your parents' marriage, your friend's marriage, your sister's marriage, nothing. It is only going to be what you create it to be. If you respect it, if you put your efforts and time into it, the marriage is the best thing that would have ever happened to you. But if you focus on the negative parts of it, the downside part of it, that is all that you will see, and that is all that you will talk about, and all the efforts that he puts into whatever is just overlooked. Number 6, love languages. Love languages, the 5 love languages is a book written by Gary Chapman. So in this book, he talks about how people want to be loved, what is a language they understand when it comes to love. Basically, the way in which we all love differently, like that we all receive love, or we all understand love in a different way. The 5 primary love languages are quality time, acts of service, physical touch, receiving gifts, and words of affirmation. Out of these 5, my primary love language is quality time. Of course, I love the other things as well, but the primary language is quality time. And to make your partner feel loved, you need to understand what is their love language and then talk to them in that language. Like, my partner's love language is act of service. So for example, if he is having a busy day at work, okay, and he is all tired, exhausted with the work. So after his tiring day, if I am all free for him and if I am ready to spend quality time with him, that is not going to speak volumes, because that is not his primary language. His primary language is act of service. So while he is working, so if I give him a cup of coffee, or if I give him a massage or whatever to relax after the busy day at work, that is what is going to hit him. So similarly, for me, quality time is important. So no matter how many ever gifts you give me, no matter how many ever words of affirmation you have for me, or you do whatever for me, it is not going to matter, or it is not going to speak volumes unless you put your time in spending it with me. Like, I would want attention, I would want great talks, I would want us to spend time together. So that is what is going to matter to me. I hope I'm able to clear out what is love language. If you want to figure out what your partner's love language is, I would leave a link down in the description. So basically, with time, I have realized, I have learned that my partner's love language is acts of service. So to fill him with love, I would have to do this tiny stuff here, there, just to show it to him. Like suppose if he keeps on telling me like, babe, why are you not folding the clothes, they are just lying around, please fold the clothes, please fold. And if I keep on ignoring it, and if I so that is not going to make him feel loved. Instead, if I take him to a fancy restaurant, this, that and all, he'll still be like 100 times I'm telling her and she's not doing this. But if instead of all of these things, if he comes back home from a work day, and then if he sees the house clean, if he sees I've folded the clothes, if he sees I've done all of the blah blah stuff, that is what is going to be like, oh. 7th point, keep dating. Like, have plans to go out, have plans to surprise each other, have plans for having dinner together, movie plans, basically experiencing new things together. Like the entire thing is to not get caught upon our everyday life of just waking up, office, home, sleep. Like just get out of this circle and not get caught in. I remember my husband coming to my office and dropping as a surprise. Anyway, it is a very obvious thing that I'm coming back home, but then that effort of coming all the way to my office and then just giving a surprise. Basically, keep dating, like be those immature people, not like getting stuck in the everyday routine, like something which you would put in time, put a thought into doing for your partner. 8th point, make sure to spend time with each other. Like this is slightly different from just keeping dating and going out, is to have those intimate moments, like away from everything else, other people, other work or what, your mobile phones, just the two of us. Take a walk around, have a cup of coffee together at your balcony, talk about stuff, talk about life, talk about what future looks like, have plans, just talking to each other, just discussing things and just trying to get to know each other. Like just talk about everything, like the chores you have to do, your finances, if some travel plans you're thinking of, your dreams, your aspirations, anything of that. Like basically that communication where you're just having random talks, understanding each other more, letting those thoughts out, some random communication which will eventually bring you guys closer. Basically what I'm trying to say is you have this entire person all for yourself. So just have that moments together which you like, be laughing together, talking about, having those remember when conversations, all of that. 9th point, the obvious one, communication. I mean, like communicate frequently, communicate openly, communicate every day throughout the day. Tell each other stories about your workplace, some joke, some incident that happened there, blah blah blah. But with time, what I've learned is men and women communicate differently. I mean, like I literally experienced it. For example, if I have some problem and I know the solution also, because I know, but then the problem is bothering me, like it exists in first place, that is what is bothering me. So I come back home, I talk to my husband about this, and his instant reaction is, so do this, no, let's do that, that is the solution. And for a moment I would be like, I know that, but I just want to talk about it and I just want to get it out of my system. And my husband for the longest was like, the talk can chill, because we have the solution, so then why talk? With time he realized that it's not like that I want him to solve it for me, and so yeah, I just want to talk about it. So when I start talking, he would just be a little bit quiet for some time, and then he'll slightly be like, but you know, right, this can be the solution. And I'll be like, yeah, I know, but then the problem being there, I am just like, why did it happen, and all of those stories. And then that is how the conversation continues. Whatever the problem is, whatever the issue is, I'm like, discuss the shit out of it and just be like, divide and conquer. 10th thing, and my favorite thing, are the little rules we have around in our house. One of that is Saturday nights. We have to watch a movie, we have to have it with popcorn, we have to have it with Jim Jam. Like that is a thing which we have been following since over a year now. Another thing which we try to do is not sleeping with the fight on. Like we try not to go to sleep with the fight going on. But then of course there are matters that need some more time to calm off, and then you talk about it the next day and all. And similarly, like whatever tiny things, we say I love yous before we go to bed. We have this 20-30 minute talk session before we are lying in bed and we are just talking about random stuff. Like if we have just watched a movie, we'll discuss about the movie. If we have just watched a video, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about our next day, whatever. A 20-30 minute talk session where we are just talking before we go to sleep. And at the same time, we try to avoid using phones or whatever while we are eating. So yeah, so to sum up everything, I think the things that are important boils down to being passionate about each other, like pampering your partner a lot, taking care of your partner, taking care of your home in the big picture. Yeah, just like loving to spend time with each other, like looking forward to it at the end of the day. Thank you everyone for watching. I really enjoyed sharing it with you guys. I'm still in that enjoy wala phase, I think. And if you are also in the initial months of your marriage, let me know if you have any similar experiences. And to all of those who are celebrating the second, third or even more years of marriage, let us know how does it look. I am sending out so much of love to all of you. Thank you again. Bye bye.